and welcome to the OCNN, your monthly source for stories of community impact, faith in action, and good news from the Seventh-day Adventist churches across Ontario. We're really glad that you're joining us for our first episode of 2026.
It's incredible. A new year is here.
And we're already in February.
So what do you think about those New Year's resolutions? Do you think they're still going strong, or do you think people, maybe even ourselves, need a little reboot?
Well, I think some people, they stuck to things, and others might need to revisit them.
So maybe you and I need to talk a little bit later.
Okay, we'll have to figure that out.
Either way, it's a good time to pause and reset and maybe see where we can make some improvements as we go forward this year. You know what? It's actually all about new beginnings.
Absolutely. New beginnings often come with fresh goals and hopeful plans, but they can also bring challenges. And so if you lived in Ontario and there's been a lot of snow and it's been really cold, not what we've had before.
No, well, maybe when we were kids, and I love the snow when you go snowmobiling, but since I don't have a snowmobile right now, I don't really love the snow as much.
And the shoveling is not so much fun either.
It's not so much fun. And while many of us can head back into our warm, cozy homes after a long day, there are people in our communities who unfortunately don't have that option. And for individuals experiencing homelessness, Alvin, this can be an incredibly difficult season.
For real. And it's moments like these that call us to live out our faith in practical ways, to notice the needs around us and respond with compassion, generosity, and action.
And you know what? That's exactly what one of our Seventh-day Adventist churches have been doing for the past 30 years. Did you know that during the holiday season, the Mount Zion Seventh-day Adventist Church did something incredibly special for its community?
It's true. They stepped up to offer warmth, care, and a reminder that Jesus loves everyone. Their story is a powerful example of loving your neighbor, and it's where we're headed next. Let's take a look.
Today is a very special day at the Mount Zion Seventh-day Adventist Church, not only because of the time of year and they're providing a service to the community by giving them food that they so need this time of year, but there's entertainment, there's giveaways, there's gift cards. So let's go and take a look and see what Mount Zion is doing for their community today.
The Mount Zion Food Bank actually opened maybe 30 years ago, actually. Pastor Edwin Martin was our pastor at the time. And actually, funny enough, my mom was a community services leader back then. So she and Pastor Martin worked with North York Harvest Food Bank to open our facility. We're a member agency of North York Harvest Food Bank. We opened about 30 years ago. At the end of every year, we like to do something a little special for our clients. Typically, we just run a pretty efficient workflow, coming in, registering, picking up their food hamper, and then leaving. But today, because it is the holiday season, we are we're serving some coffee, tea, and hot chocolate. We've asked some musicians to play some holiday music, and we received a pretty healthy donation from a donor, and we were able to buy gift cards for everyone. So just to make the holiday season a little lighter for everyone, all of our clients are getting a $50 Shoppers Drop Mart gift card.
So this for setup for this today started actually on Thursday evening when we get our delivery from North York Food Harvest, and then into Friday afternoon. Our community leader was here late last night as well, and then some of our volunteers have been here since 9 a.m. repackaging fresh bread and packaging some of the special treats that we have for today. So it's been already a full day today.
How many people are expecting?
We're expecting 95 today.
95?
Close to 100, because sometimes they come in here and they miss their appointment, so they really have to call. We have to call to make their appointments beforehand. We always give a paper for the next appointment time. If they miss that, we cannot serve it, because we always expecting such and such number of people to come in. So if somebody, like a friend who cannot pick it up, they will notify us that they can pick up somebody else's food or hopper.
Hi, my name is Kira. My name is Michelle. So today we're at Food Bank at Mount Zion, and it's the season of giving, so our moms told us to come, so why not and give a helping hand?
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, sure, let me help serve my community.
And just the joy that we see from others. It's it's like it's a give and receive.
Yeah, especially with the music, how we're seeing like everybody active and dancing.
Yeah.
I just wanna jump in there and dance with them too. Just love seeing them happy and joyful.
It's important. It definitely gives you a different perspective to see the community coming into the church and like how much of a difference that you can make. Even just a smile goes a long way.
Yeah.
Go and volunteer at your church because it's worth it.
It's very worth it.
Yeah.
Seeing a smile on other people's faces will really put a smile on yours.
Yeah.
Helping those in need isn't just something we do occasionally. It's a core part of who we are as a church. Our faith calls us to look beyond ourselves, to notice suffering, and to respond with compassion, love, and action.
And that responsibility doesn't stop in our own neighborhoods. When people are hurting, whether down the street or across the world, we're reminded that we're part of a global family.
We've seen that so clearly in the aftermath of Hurricane Melissa and the super typhoon that hit people in the Philippines, which left widespread devastation and changed lives in an instant. Homes were destroyed, communities were displaced, and many families were left with nothing.
And in moments like that, it's inspiring to see people step up. In Ontario and around the world, individuals, churches, and organizations came together to support those affected, offering hope in the midst of heartbreak.
And one of those responses came from Crawford Adventist Academy, who decided they couldn't stand by and do nothing. Together, they followed God's leading and collected donations to make a difference for those impacted in Jamaica.
It's such a powerful reminder that faith in action can take many forms, and that even small hands and willing hearts can make an incredible difference.
Hi, we're here at Crawford Adventist Academy, and they've taken the initiative to collect items, non-perishable items, and clothing for the people in Jamaica who are suffered from Hurricane Melissa. So if you look at this right here, we got all these barrels looking down. And like I said, they're filled with food, non-perishable items, and clothing. And outside too, they have a container, a massive container, which will also be filled with other items as well that are desperately needed in Jamaica. So let's go outside and take a look.
Well, a hurricane happened, Hurricane Melissa, and the devastating news were flooding the airwaves. A couple of teachers here at school, Mrs. Jameson and Mr. Ambrose, came to me and said, you know what, we need to do something. And I said, okay, what should we do? And they said, well, remember when we had done the other stuff for Dominica? I'm like, that's a lot of work. Like, I've been down this road. It's hard work. But yeah, I said, okay, well, we'll see what God wants. If God wants us to send 10 barrels, then we'll send 10 barrels. If God wants us to do a container, then he'll provide things to go into that container and the funds to do it as well. And that's literally been the faith that we've been going on to do the project. So as we put it out there for people to send their things, send their help, send their donations, all of a sudden, huge donation types of things like beds, hospital beds. They started like, hey, are you on that level? So I'm just like, okay, Jesus. And then Mr. Hall said, I have a friend that's doing containers. You should contact him. And God just grew and grew and grew the project. And so here we are today with an actual container to go to Jamaica with. To God be all the glory, honor, and praise. So we're in the container. Woo! All right, so come let me show you what we've done so far. Well, of course, these are hospital beds and the mattresses that go with it, but behind there are, I can't even tell you how many, maybe like 1,000, I'm not sure, but a lot of linen. So bed sheets, the top covers, the pillowcases, towels, that kind of things, as well as a lot of hospital gowns for the hospitals that we are going to be partnering with in this initiative. So just a lot of linen is in the back here, in addition to the beds. These are the mattresses for the beds. Good mattresses. So ones that are air, they some of them, as you can see from the wall there, like they do a lot of airflow, so that it's specific for patients who have maybe like bed sores, or they're unable to move themselves. The bed itself will rotate them so that they don't develop bed sores. So it's good quality things that we really want to partner with our friends in Jamaica right now.
Today I'm here with Pastor Andrew King, a director at the Ontario Conference, who wears many hats. Pastor King, can you just tell us what are some of the portfolios that you have here at the Ontario Conference?
Alvin, we got a lot to do. We have disaster, community service, prison ministry, and we have disability ministry. So we have a few things to do.
You're a busy man.
Extremely busy sometimes.
And we know that towards the end of last year, there were some disasters that occurred.
Unfortunately, that's true. What happened is in the island of Jamaica, Melissa came through. And shortly after that, there was a super typhoon that hit the Philippines.
And so when that happened, now a call went out to not only the churches, but the community here in Ontario. Can you tell us something about that?
Well, the church decided we had to do something. There were our neighbors, there were our friends, many family members were involved in it. So the church did put out a call to our congregations. You know, as a result of that call, our members responded generously.
Okay.
We were able to raise close to almost $100,000 and almost $40,000 to $50,000 for the Philippines.
So there was about $100,000 that went for relief in Jamaica.
Yes.
And $40,000 to $50,000 for the Philippines.
Yes.
So that is tremendous that the community came together and they decided they were going to make a difference.
It made a great difference. Now, our response as a conference, we decided what can we do primarily to make a difference through this situation, because you understand, after a disaster comes the rebuilding process.
Right, and the needs are tremendous.
We can't even imagine what it's like to put someone's life back together.
And so I know that you went to Jamaica to assess what was happening over there.
Wow, the devastation was enormous. Reason for me going, well, is to assess the damage and to see what we could do in building a relationship, and primarily with the West Jamaica Conference, to see how we could help them to start the rebuilding process.
Okay, and so you went there, you did an assessment, money came in, and can you tell us, as a result of all this coming together, what was the end result? What's happened with the money that's come in?
Good question. So as a result of the money coming in and us building that relationship, we were able to send the money directly to the West Jamaica Conference. And at that point, what they've been able to do is to buy materials, building materials. They bought lumber, concrete screws, galvanized screws. Also, in a partnership with the North American Division, people are going down. So this relationship has been perfect in the sense that we provided supplies, individuals are going down, and those supplies are now being used to rebuild people's homes and lives at the same time.
That's truly amazing. And not only just to limit ourselves to what's happened here as a response in Jamaica, can you just touch briefly also in the Philippines, the money that's been raised over there, that's also doing something similar as well? As well, because we work with ADRA, Adventist Disaster Relief Association, and we sent the money through ADRA. It was an easier way for us to do it. And they've used that money in different areas to help those people put their lives back together as well. So again, partnering with another organization, but it really started with the donations that came in from people in the community here in Ontario. Isn't it amazing that over here we can stretch out our hands and help our brothers and sisters afar? Absolutely. And you know, they're so appreciative. I'm sure many of them are saying thank you. Maybe not knowing where the resources are coming from, but being thankful that somebody else cares. Even though we're not there, we can make a difference abroad. And so I'm glad that you said that, because people can still continue to make a difference. Yes, they can. And so now if somebody was looking at it and saying, I would like to help out in the Philippines, I would like to help out in Jamaica, or who knows what's even coming next, is there a way that people can do that? Very true. So what we decided to do as a conference, if you can go online to Adventist Giving, we've set aside a tab on Adventist Giving, which is disaster response. And if you click on that tab, you can actually make a difference abroad. Those funds, once we receive them, we look at where the disasters are happening. Unfortunately, Alvin, disasters keep coming. And we can't control when they're going to happen. That is very true. But we can control the difference that we make. Amen. So We'd like to thank you so much for being here today and for what you're doing and what you continue to do. And just as everyone has heard from Pastor King, we can make a difference. So I encourage you, if God moves upon you to help those in need, check out the website, check out what you can do, and help those so that they can be restored back to where they were and live their lives the way that they were before that disaster happened. Thank you so much.
You're already online. What if your scroll could change a life? On February 14th, 2026, the Ontario Conference of the Seventh-day Adventist Church is calling you to show up for Digital Outreach Day. Grab your phone, tablet, or laptop and do what you already do every day. Like it, share it, subscribe, comment. When you engage with Adventist content, you're telling the world who we are, what we believe, and why our mission matters. No preaching, no pressure, just real faith, real hope, shared in real time. On February 14th, let's light up the internet with truth, purpose, and Jesus. Digital Outreach Day. Your faith, your feed, your mission.
So now we want to transition to take a moment to talk about something we often hear about in our faith, but for many people, it's one of the hardest things to practice, and that's forgiveness.
Forgiveness isn't easy. It asks us to let go of hurt, resentment, and sometimes deep pain caused by words or actions that have stayed with us for a very long time. And yet, it's at the very heart of the gospel.
Jesus calls us to forgive, not because it's simple, but because it brings healing. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting what happened, and it doesn't mean the hurt wasn't real. It means choosing freedom over bitterness and trust over anger, which it really isn't easy to do.
No, not at all. And for many people, forgiveness is a journey, one that takes time, prayer, and support. As a church, we're called to walk alongside one another on that journey, offering grace in the same way Christ has offered it to us.
And that's why I'm excited to share that throughout this past year, there was a special initiative that focused on forgiveness. It's created by the Ontario Conference Women's Ministry Department, and it provided a space for reflection, reconciliation, and healing.
In December, that year-long journey came to a meaningful close with a forgiveness feast celebration. Women from across Ontario came together to share a meal, reflect on the power of forgiveness, restore relationships, and renew hearts.
And the feast was more than just an event, and we both can speak to that since we happened to be a part of that event. Mm-hmm. It was a reminder that forgiveness is something we practice daily in our homes, our churches, and our communities, and that healing often happens when we come together.
Let's hear from the Ontario Conference Women's Ministry Director, Patricia Ferreira-Lopez, who organized the event.
Today was the end celebration for the forgiveness feast that we've been running all year long. And it was beautiful. The women all came together dressed in white, as you'll see me here. And what we did is we came together to listen to an unbelievable testimony of Melissa from the story of Return to Palau. And I believe we have a bit of footage about her, as well as two other powerful testimonies from ladies in Ontario. We had interactive activities that we did where the women had to create a chain that would represent what is holding them back from moving forward in the purpose that God had for their life, choosing favorite quotes and things. And of course, the feast part where we had our lunch together and we all sat together and thought about the things that we're grateful for on the other side of this journey of forgiveness. And the whole day has been filled with that thread of peace. We had these little white birds everywhere there with olive branches to represent that we're all reaching out for peace and wanting that on our journeys of forgiveness. And we understand that forgiveness is a process, and but that it's also a choice. And I just pray that the women that came, that they were inspired and that they leave with that little seed planted, that they want to continue on this path of forgiveness in their lives and to find that peace that passes understanding that can only come from a forgiving heart, because we know that God first forgave us. So it's been a beautiful, beautiful day, and I'm so, so grateful for this experience, a real blessing for the women of Ontario, and I'm so happy to have been a part of it.
There were so many takeaways from the forgiveness feast, but one of the highlights was the keynote message from Melissa DePaiva, who shared her deeply personal journey of forgiveness. Her story, marked by profound loss and unimaginable pain, is documented in the powerful film Return to Palau.
And as attendees watched excerpts from the documentary, the room, remember, it grew quiet.
Very quiet.
People were completely drawn into Melissa's journey, her struggle, her heartbreak, and ultimately, her decision to forgive. For many, it was a deeply moving experience. And yes, there were many tears that were shed.
The film, when we looked in that room and you could just see everyone was just riveted there, I don't think you could have heard any noise in there at all.
No, I think all the women were just completely captivated, and I think they were in disbelief as to what she had gone through, and yet, because of the love of Jesus in her heart, she was still able to extend that forgiveness.
Yeah, it's truly an amazing story.
Yeah, an astounding testimony for the gospel.
And so let's hear about it directly from Melissa.
And so my dad was a pastor of the church in Palau, and my mom a teacher. My brother and I were in school, grade school. One night a man broke into our home under the influence of drugs and killed my parents and my brother, and somehow he decided he wasn't going to kill me immediately. Later on tried to, but I survived that attempt and was thrown down a ravine, and at the age of 10 years old, just had miraculous experience, miracle after miracle of how I was able to survive everything that happened. Found by a couple and taken in and taken to safety, and then surrounded by community and family that came from around the world to meet me. And the story goes on from there. There's so many details I could share, but the story goes on from there. To touch on the topic of forgiveness, my grandma, when she came to be with me, she immediately wanted to visit the man who was caught and put in jail, and she forgave him, just outright forgave him as a fresh wound that had happened, and she just forgave him. And years later, 15 years later, I had the opportunity to go back to Palau and offer my own forgiveness to this man, and who has now given his heart to God and has been baptized.
It was such a powerful event, and I was truly blessed to be a part of it.
Now, not only were you an attendee, but you were also a participant.
That's right. I was part of a panel that discussed generational forgiveness, from Gen Z to the boomers, and it was really interesting just to hear from different women from each of those segments as to their experience with the forgiveness process.
And what I noticed was the feast was meaningful for women of all ages. And what really struck me was there was a number of high school women that were there who had an event that they needed to attend later in the evening, but they stayed there right until the very end of the program.
So why don't we hear from a young woman who attended the event and then learn more about its impact on her.
I enjoyed the fellowship and how so many women, just like young and old and any age, we just came together with the same motive, and we came for the same thing, to talk about forgiveness, and it was really uplifting and a wonderful experience just to be together. When I get back, I'm going to tell my friends that this was a wonderful experience and they should have been here, and if there's another experience or event like this, they should be here. The friends that were here, I'd probably talk about it it more with them. I feel like everyone who was here was just closer in just bonds, and even people I didn't know, I just got closer to them, and it was just a really uplifting experience, and I wish everyone could experience this.
And it's true that forgiveness has the power to change us from the inside out. Nelson Mandela once said, "Resentment is like drinking poison and then hoping it will kill your enemies." So forgiveness in many ways is to choose life.
An author and civil rights leader, Martin Luther King Jr., put it this way: forgiveness is not an occasional act, it's a constant attitude. And that attitude just doesn't affect our relationships. It also affects our hearts, minds, well-being, and spirituality.
And actually, I had an opportunity with a friend, Maggie, to be able to go to a church and put on a presentation about forgiveness. And so we had to do some research in order to be able to present. And so studies have shown that when you practice forgiveness, now this is pretty cool.
Okay.
It can reduce stress, it can lower anxiety, it can even improve your overall health. So when we release bitterness, we make more room for peace, for healing, for clarity, things that our bodies and our minds desperately need.
So forgiveness is very important.
It is.
But it doesn't change the past. And sometimes, as a part of forgiving, we also have to move on. But it can transform the future and open the door to restoration and hope. Melissa DePaiva's story reminds us that when we forgive and move forward, we are truly free.
Definitely release, definitely peace. It feels light, and it feels like I'm not carrying baggage into my other relationships, into the life I have ahead of me. I'm not held back. It's like you're trying to run forward, but being chained by a heavy weight behind you. And when you finally forgive somebody, it's like somebody has released that chain, and you can just run. And you can run without getting tired.
I see them every week in church. And everyone smiles. And seems okay.
And what happens on the news seems just so far away.
But it isn't.
It's happening.
Among us.
In our families.
In our communities.
To a sister.
To a mother.
To a grandparent.
To a child.
To me.
Family violence is real.
The trauma is real.
And the silence that's been kept
has broken families.
But that's all changing.
The Seventh Adventist Church in Ontario is giving a voice
to the physical violence.
End it now.
To the sexual violence.
End it now.
To the psychological violence.
End it now.
To the neglect of basic needs.
End it now.
Against men.
End it now.
Against women.
End it now.
Against children.
End it now.
And in Ontario, we are paying attention.
We have to pay attention.
Raise awareness. Share solutions.
Listen to the victims.
And break the silence.
Get them the help that they need.
To end it now.
We must all
end it now.
As we wrap up today's episode, we're reminded that a new year isn't just about resolutions. It's about renewed purpose. We've seen faith lived out through compassion for those in need.
And we've been reminded that forgiveness heals, restores, and ultimately sets us free. These stories all point to the same truth. When we open our hearts to God, He works through us to bring hope, healing, and good news to our communities and beyond.
Thanks once again for joining us. Be sure to subscribe to the Ontario Conference YouTube channel so you don't miss an episode. And remember, don't forget to tell your friends.
Yes, definitely tell your friends. And to stay informed about what's happening across our Ontario Conference, we invite you to subscribe to the Ontario Conference newsletter, which is delivered to your inbox every Wednesday. Simply scan the QR code on your screen or click the link in the description to receive uplifting news each week. And if you're looking to watch Christian programming, make sure that you check out AdventistOntarioTV. It's available on YouTube, Roku, Fire TV, and I believe it's 24 hours a day.
That is correct. And if you're interested in learning more about the Seventh-day Adventist Church, we warmly invite you to visit one of our 180 congregations across Ontario. Use the church locator on our website or the link in the channel to find a church near you. And if you enjoy reading, be sure to scan the QR code to access the Ontario Highlights magazine.
So you definitely don't want to miss out. So thank you for watching, and come journey with us. Remember, there's always good news when we open our eyes to see what God is doing all around us.
And remember the words of Jeremiah 29:11. God has a plan for you. And until the next time,
take care.
And God bless.
Or if maybe they need a little reboot.
Boot.
Oh, sorry.
Welcome to joining me on the blooper reel.
And as attendees watched excerpts.
Who were also experts.
Sorry, Ashton.
All right, let's go back. See, you're getting hungry too.
Maybe.
Yeah, I know you. All right, let's go. So wind it back.
Can I just start from me or start from many? It was a deeply moving experience, and quite a few tears were shed, even from ourselves.
Well, not me.
Really?
Why do you give me the opportunity to say these things?
We should bring snacks for these guys next time.
Yeah. I'll get the rice cooker going in the corner.
Yes, he would. A little barbecue on the side. Okay.
Are you good?
So that's exactly what one Seventh-day Adventist church has been doing. What are you doing over there?
I got hungry.
Okay. Time out. I need some professionalism. Maybe a new co-host. You ate before we came.
But I got hungry. Do you want some?
Okay.
See, so you're hungry too.
Thanks.